Good day, everybody, and what's up? Welcome to the podcast for Selfless Sex and She Comes First. I am Dr. Nick Myers. Today is March the 29th, and I hope everyone had a great weekend and is currently having a great day. So now we are a couple of days out from the slap seen around the world, and I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but I just want to make 3 quick points. I'm going to move on. Because for me personally, what I saw one black man who was obviously already dealing with something, already in some sort of pain, attack another black man on the world's biggest stage, literally. So I'm sitting here like, wait, what the fuck? Wait, seriously? Really? It's us again? Come on now. And so then I thought a little bit more about it, and I thought about what Mr. Smith actually did. He smacked him. And I'm sitting there thinking, most grown men don't smack each other. He's going to throw a punch. So I'm thinking he's going to just, hit him in his ribs and keep it moving. No, he smacked him in his face. So people are going to say I'm stretching here, but back in the day, if a slave owner wanted to emasculate a black man, he didn't punch him, he slapped him in his face. I'm like, so where did that choice come from? Why didn't he just punch him in his gut and keep it moving, but he slapped him in his face? And the first thing Chris Rock said was, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of me. And in the community, we've all heard that phrase before. And number 3, finally, sometimes you can't put all your business out there for everyone to listen to and see, because sooner or later they are going to twist it, turn it around, and attack you with it, to the point where now you are embarrassed and you have to respond in kind, and that's what we saw. But I'm not talking about that today. Let's talk about sex. As a matter of fact, let's talk about porn. I'm going to continue my series on women and porn today, and this topic came from an article that a colleague of mine reposted on Facebook, and the truth is I didn't even know about it. So I was like, what's this? And I read it. It's pretty interesting. Very nice article. And it's a study that was republished in Psychology Today, and the article is called What Makes Porn Authentic and Why Does It Matter to Women? So let's talk about that today. So recently, as you know, I did podcasts on women who watch pornography and women who read erotica. So when someone does an actual research study on women and their erotic choices or their pornographic choices, it really sends waves throughout the system pretty much. So it's really important. And I found this study to be extremely important because, one, it's done with interviews. They interviewed 24 women, and their average age was around 33 years old, and they were women of color, and they identified as a sexual identity other than heterosexual. The study found that as the women were enjoying their pornography, they were feeling elements of shame, guilt, and stigma due to misogynistic elements in their pornography. So in order to get over their cognitive dissonance, they started watching feminist porn or something called ethical porn. And what's really interesting is that they really started to enjoy pornography that seemed more realistic and authentic, because they said that the more authentic it was easier for them to alleviate those feelings of guilt and shame. So these women came up with 5 themes that makes porn feel authentic to them. The first theme these women mentioned is the appearance of the other women in the pornography. So they said that many of those women had a stereotypical look to them, meaning that they were blonde, white, skinny, big-breasted, with fake body parts. Now, in contrast to women that were older, of a different race, and had various body sizes, the women in the study viewed them as being more authentic. Number 2, faking pleasure for the camera. So the women in the study felt that if the performers were actually faking their pleasure, it came off as inauthentic. In contrast, porn was described as feeling authentic if they felt the performers were actually enjoying themselves and experiencing pleasure. Number 3, connection and intimacy. And the women in this study felt that if there was some sort of physical attraction or a certain level of intimacy, it came off as more authentic versus when that was absent. The women actually said this, quote, "It was identified as being determined through body language that suggested the performers were actually enjoying themselves, as well as explicit verbal communications about condom use and what felt good," unquote. And the truth is, you may have actually seen this yourself if you ever watched porn recently or ever, because sometimes you can look at the actors and see that they really want to be there, they really want to have a good time, and or they actually are enjoying themselves during the act, versus those people who are just kind of phoning it in and just getting that paycheck. Makes a big difference. The fourth theme is diverse representation. And for them, it went beyond just having the LGBTQ community in pornography and people from diverse races in pornography. For them, it was important for the focus to be on the person's identity and the pleasure they were getting versus being exploitive and tokenizing. Please excuse me while I get on my soapbox for a minute, but this is one of the reasons I really have an issue with an interracial website called Blacked, Blacked, because it turns a person's race into an adjective, and it's like something that's it turns you into being affected by, like someone is being affected by their race or someone's color. So it's like the women that people of color are having sex with are being affected by them in some way, shape, or form. And you can call that tokenizing or patronizing or not, but that just seems wrong to me. And in my opinion, there is an element of racism there. And number 5, the women in this study used their own personal experience to decide if pornography was authentic or not. And they really used their own experiences as a barometer for its authenticity. And they really based it on their own experience of sexual pleasure. And to be more specific about it, they really judged and they tried to use that ability to identify a real female orgasm versus a fake female orgasm. So in closing, this was a pretty interesting study. Even though it was small with 24 women, it was nice to hear alternative voices, meaning they did a study where they used Black women for a change. That was very nice to see and very nice to read. And my question is this, for the women in the study, or for women out there who are listening, and for those women who enjoy pornography, I wonder if they would feel that amateur pornography was more authentic when compared to the pro shot stuff. Because, if you look at the pro shot, you can see people, the performer standing at weird angles so that the camera can get that shot that they're looking for. And it's easy to see. In contrast to back in the day where people just put up this one camera and the audio was bad and the lighting was bad, but you could tell that they were really into each other and having a good time. And most of those things, orgasms included, were not faked. And at the same time now, you can go down to Best Buys or whatever and buy a really nice semi-pro setup for your bedroom where everything's in 4K and the audio is really nice nowadays and all that jazz. So it would look pretty good, sound pretty good, and it's still amateur, but it's semi-pro shot. So I wonder if women would enjoy that more than the pro shot stuff due to its lack of being authentic. And number two, I was wondering about the type of erotica and pornography that these women would enjoy. Because I'm sitting here thinking maybe the visual porn isn't for them, but maybe the audio porn could work for them, or reading erotica where they have to engage their imagination. So in a weird way, that could even be hotter for them. Just food for thought. So on that note, I'm out. You guys have a great day. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you soon.